Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Mercury, Sextile, or Trine Saturn in a natal chart. Now, first off, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart, and they were a little bit concise. Some people may refer to them as snappy. So what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is if you have Mercury, Sextile, or Trine Saturn in a natal chart, naturally you have a good relationship between Mercury and Saturn, and you may easily and readily communicate, which is Mercury, about career-related matters and endeavors, which is Saturn. Now, Saturn is in Sagittarius as an example. Career-related endeavors may include publishing, advertising, printing press operation, sports, doing something with the outdoors, working as a travel agent. It could be a career that involves foreign travel. So as some examples, a college teacher. Now, another thing, let's say if Saturn is in Libra as another example, career-related matters may include, working as a diplomat or being involved in arbitration, negotiation, the law, art, doing something, working in human resources, being like a relationship counselor, as some other examples. Now, another thing too is that if you have one of these aspects in your natal chart, another way it may manifest could be that you may readily put your mind, which is Mercury, on your work and responsibilities, which is Saturn. You generally can have an easy time doing that without little diversions or distractions. Now, let's say if Saturn is Taurus as an example, work, responsibilities may be tied in with finance or banking. It may have to do with possessions or buying and selling. It could be doing something, like a field that's Taurus related, whether it could be construction, architecture, geology, carpet laying, working as a pawnbroker, a stockbroker, as some examples. Now, another thing too is you may easily understand, which is the mind, if you have any chronic issues, which is Saturn, with the hands, the arms, the nerves, the lungs, or breathing, which is Mercury. So the thing is, if you have, say, if you have say if Mercury, is in Aquarius, those issues may be more sporadic or intermittent. It could indicate, that may reinforce or reaffirm, some nerve-related, damage. If Mercury is, if you have Capricorn involved, it may be, something more connected, with old age. Chronic Saturn is actually the chronic issues. But the thing is, if you have this aspect, if there are any chronic issues, with the hands, arms, nerves, lungs, or breathing, which is Mercury, it's more easy to understand. Or it could just simply be easy, which is Mercury is about understanding any chronic issues you may have, which is Saturn. Saturn, say, is in Gemini. There may be, or let me give another example. If Saturn is in the zodiac sign Cancer, there may be chronic issues with the chest, the breast, the ribs, or the stomach, as some examples. And it can give, really, more of an understanding on these things and easily articulate, those issues. Now, and that's if applicable. Now, also too, you may be you may find it easy as far as any activities with the father, older people, authority figures, which is Saturn. You may find it easy to write or talk about those matters. It could be Let's say if Saturn is in Aries, as an example, the father, older people, authority figures, one or more may actually have an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be, people that are aggressive, assertive, forceful, courageous, brave, um, impatient, though, maybe a little bit hot-tempered, confrontational, but yet not readily discouraged, as some examples. Now, also, too, this aspect can be very auspicious for short journeys, which is Mercury, to places associated with your business, your career, political, government venues, which is Saturn. Now, let's say if Mercury is in Pisces, as an example, those journeys may be a little bit, convoluted. Maybe you experience more fog in them than the average person. If Mercury is in Scorpio, those short journeys may be a little bit, maybe somewhat, secretive, and something that you don't really like to, divulge or talk about, as some examples. Now, another thing too is that um, having one of these aspects in your natal chart, you may easily concentrate, which is Saturn, on matters pertaining to communication, writing, manual dexterity, which is Mercury. So, if you have, say, Mercury and Aquarius, those manual dexterity, could be working on, some computer or electronics, projects. It could be, you being able to use the hands well in those activities. And, the thing too is, if you have Mercury sextile or trine Saturn in a natal chart, another way it may be expressed is there may be a little difficulty in analyzing, which is Mercury, career-related matters, social status, responsibilities, which is Saturn. And going to Saturn in the zodiac sign Cancer, there may be, more responsibilities to the home, to the family. It may be matters with laundry, plumbing, even more so than the average person. And also, too, these aspects can be very favorable for planning and being very prudent and cautious, which is Saturn, when you're driving, which is Mercury. Now, if you have Mercury in an earth sign, naturally, that could even give more prudence and caution in matters with driving. If you have Mercury, you would say it's in reckless Sagittarius, this can tone it down a little bit, the possible recklessness in the driving. And so, that's how some examples how it could manifest. Now, another thing about these aspects too, it could be easily, being premeditative, being able to plan, which is Saturn, in matters associated with cars, which is Mercury, whether it could be buying them or selling them, working on them. This is where you can have a very good, as far as the ability, to plan well in those matters. And if you have Mercury in Gemini, maybe you have a variety of vehicles, and you may like to be very quick in those matters too, pertaining to cars or vehicles in general, which is Mercury. Now, also too, what's also positive about these aspects is that you may easily incorporate discipline, which is Saturn, or had incorporated discipline in the early education, which is Mercury. Let's say if Mercury is in Taurus, as an example, the early education may have been one in which you learned very methodically in terms of assimilating information, and may have even learned through having things demonstrated visually. Now, in terms, and also too, and also thinking, which is Mercury, may be really discipline, which is Saturn. So that's another good thing about these aspects. And let's say, if Mercury is in Leo, it could still get very confident, thinking we're very self-assured, but at the same time, it may be more disciplined when you have this aspect, because Mercury can be somewhat boastful, but at the same time, when you have this aspect, one of these aspects, it could be more disciplined than otherwise indicated. Now, also, it could be easy for you to understand, which is Mercury. Matter is associated with aging, which is Saturn. So, really, and the thing about this is, I mean, it's just very good. These aspects are very good, just for, having discipline just in Mercury related things, whether it's communicating, writing, taking short journeys. Mercury's the rational mind, so it's also very good for having, and it could be certain control in keeping yourself, the rational mind rational. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.